The massive ship Eternal Dominion floated in the darkness of space like a metal city. Its hull stretched for miles, covered in weapon ports and shield generators that could destroy entire planets. Inside the ship's war room, the most powerful, military leaders in the galaxy gathered around a holographic star map. Admiral Vexistar stood at the head of the table, his reptilian scales gleaming under the bright lights. His yellow eyes moved across the display showing human territory. The Sorok Empire had ruled space for 3,000 years, and Vextar had never lost a battle. His forked tongue flicked out as he spoke. "These humans think they can challenge us," he hissed. "They have been in space for less than 200 years. We have been conquering worlds since before their species learned to make fire." "General," Quindal's crystal body pulsed with blue light, showing her amusement. The Nexari had evolved from living crystals on a frozen world. Their technology was so advanced that other species called it magic. When she spoke, her voice rang like singing glass. "I have studied their military records," Quindal said. "They fight among themselves constantly. Their largest war killed 50 million of their own kind. They cannot work together long enough to threaten anyone else." Fleet Commander Earthon floated in his environment suit filled with toxic gas from his home world. The Volmec lived in the clouds of gas giant planets and had built ships that could survive anything. His mechanical voice came through his suit's speakers. "My scouts report only 3,000 human ships," Earthon said. "We have assembled 50,000 vessels from 12 different species. This will not be a war. It will be target practice." The hologram in the center of the table flickered and changed. A human figure appeared wearing a simple blue uniform. Admiral Park Hyun looked calm as he faced the alien commanders. His black hair was streaked with gray and his dark eyes showed no fear. "Honored members of the Galactic Coalition," Park Hyun said with a slight bow. "I thank you for allowing Earth to present our defensive strategy." Vextar's scales rattled with laughter. "Defensive strategy? You mean surrender terms?" Park Hyun ignored the insult and continued. "Earth proposes a series of strategic withdrawals combined with hit-and-run attacks. We will avoid direct confrontation and use what we call asymmetric warfare." The hologram changed to show human ships retreating from alien forces, then striking at supply lines and communication posts. The attacks looked random and desperate. Quindal's crystal form flashed with bright colors, the Nexari way of showing extreme amusement. "You plan to run away from every fight? This is your great strategy?" "We will use our knowledge of local space to our advantage," Park Hyun explained. "Human ships are smaller and faster. We can hide in asteroid fields and nebulae that your larger vessels cannot enter." Earthon's gas suit hissed as he laughed. "Hide like frightened children? The mighty human race, cowering behind rocks and dust clouds?" In the human section of the war room, Captain Li Dong watched the alien reactions carefully. He sat quietly in his chair, taking notes on a small tablet. Li had spent years studying alien psychology and military tactics. He knew that each species had predictable patterns of behavior. The Sorok always attacked head-on with overwhelming force. They believed that showing strength was more important than winning efficiently. The Nexari used complex technology and precise coordination, but they looked down on any species they considered primitive. The Volmec were methodical and careful, but they underestimated enemies who seemed chaotic or unpredictable. Lieutenant Kim Yu monitored the communication channels on her headset. She could hear the alien officers on different ships talking to each other. They were making jokes about human cowardice and betting on how quickly the war would end. Some were already discussing how to divide up human territory after the conquest. "Leo, humans think their little ships can hide from our sensors," one Sorok captain said. "We will hunt them down like the prey animals they are." A Nexari commander laughed in her crystal voice. "Their technology is so primitive, they might as well be throwing rocks at our shields. This will be easier than conquering the Zelati Confederation." Hyun continued his presentation as if he could not hear the mockery. "We also plan to evacuate civilian populations from worlds that cannot be defended. Our merchant ships will carry refugees to safer systems." "More running away," Vextar said. "At least you admit you cannot protect your own people. Every human ship that escapes means fewer targets for us to destroy." Quindal added. How considerate of them to make our job easier. The hologram showed human colony ships fleeing from advancing alien fleets. The civilians looked panicked and desperate as they abandoned their homes. The alien generals watched with satisfaction, seeing it as proof of human weakness. Admiral Park Hyun finished his presentation with a formal bow. This concludes Earth's strategic overview. We hope for a swift resolution to this conflict with minimal casualties on both sides. The hologram faded, leaving the alien commanders alone in the war room. They looked at each other and burst into laughter. Vextar's scales clattered like rainfall on metal. Did they really think that pathetic display would frighten us? He asked. Perhaps they hope we will take pity on them, Quindal suggested, her crystal body glowing with mirth. More likely they wanted to waste our time with their foolishness, Earthon said. No matter, we will be done with them within a month. Captain Li Dong quietly stood up from his chair and left the war room. In the corridor outside, he met Lieutenant Kim Yu, who had finished monitoring the alien communications. They walked together toward their transport ship. What did you learn? Li asked. They are exactly as predictable as Admiral Park said they would be, Kim Yu replied. Each species is reacting according to their cultural patterns. The Saurochs see retreat as weakness. The Nexari think we are too primitive to be dangerous. The Volmec believe chaos means incompetence. Perfect, Li said. They see what they expect to see, not what is really happening. Do you think the plan will work? Kim Yu asked. Li smiled for the first time since the meeting began. The hardest part of any magic trick is making the audience believe they know what you are doing. These aliens think they understand human nature, but they have never fought an enemy that turns weakness into strength. As their shuttle returned to the human fleet, the alien commanders continued planning their attack. They had no idea that everything they had just witnessed was carefully designed to feed their prejudices and blind them to the real threat. The greatest deception in galactic history had just begun, and the aliens were eager participants in their own downfall. 3 months after the War Council meeting, space around the Nexari home system looked like a metal ocean. Ships stretched as far as sensors could reach, their hulls gleaming in the light of twin suns. 50,000 warships from 12 different species had gathered for one purpose: to crush humanity once and for all. The fleet was massive beyond imagination. Sauroch battleships, each one 5 miles long, carried enough firepower to turn a planet into dust. Nexari crystal ships hummed, with energy weapons that could slice through any known armor. Volmec cloud riders drifted between the other vessels like deadly storms, their gas-filled hulls hiding terrible weapons. Other species had sent their finest ships too. The insectoid Craxi brought hive ships that could launch 1,000,000 fighter craft. The energy beings called the Lumina had constructed vessels made of pure light that could travel faster than anything else in the galaxy. Even the mysterious Voidwalkers had emerged from dark space to join the Armada. Admiral Vextar stood on the bridge of his flagship, looking out at the assembled fleet through massive windows. His yellow eyes glowed with satisfaction as he counted the ships. Never in galactic history had so many species worked together. The sight filled him with pride and confidence. "Behold the greatest armada ever assembled," he announced to his officers. 50,000 ships against 3,000 human vessels. This will not be a battle, it will be an execution. General Quindal's crystal form appeared as a hologram. Next to him, her body pulsed with excited colors as she spoke. "My technicians estimate that our combined firepower could destroy every human world simultaneously. We could end this war in a single day if we chose." "But where would be the lesson in that?" Fleet Commander Earthon asked, his gas suit hissing. "Other species must see what happens to those who defy the coalition. We will make the humans suffer before they die." The 3 commanders had agreed on their strategy. They would advance slowly through human space, destroying everything in their path. Each conquered world would be broadcast across the galaxy as a warning. Any species watching would learn that challenging the established order meant total destruction. Meanwhile, in the Sol system, Earth's defenders prepared for the storm heading their way. Admiral Park Hyun stood in the command center of Luna Base, watching displays that showed the approaching alien armada. His face remained calm, but his staff could see the weight of responsibility in his eyes. Captain Li Dong entered the command center carrying a stack of reports. He had spent weeks analyzing every piece of intelligence about the alien fleet. The numbers were terrifying, but he had found weaknesses that could be exploited. The enemy formation is exactly as we predicted, Li reported. Each species is maintaining its own tactical preferences. The Sarok ships are in the front, ready for direct assault. The Nexari vessels are in the center, coordinating fleet movements. The Volmec ships guard the flanks and rear. Lieutenant Kim Yu worked at a bank of communication equipment, monitoring alien transmissions. Her headphones crackled with intercepted messages from the enemy fleet. Most of the aliens sounded bored or amused, as if they were heading to a celebration, rather than a war. They are still underestimating us, Kim reported. Sarok captains are making bets on how quickly they can break through our defenses. Nexari commanders are discussing which human worlds they want to claim as trophies. They act like the war is already won. Strategic analyst Choi Min looked up from her computer screens. She had been running battle simulations for months, testing every possible scenario. Her calculations had led to the development of Operation Phantom Dance, the most complex military deception in human history. All preparations are complete, Choi announced. Our hidden fleet positions are confirmed. Supply caches are in place throughout the outer system. Communication networks are tested and ready. Admiral Park nodded and turned to address his senior staff. Remember, everything depends on the aliens believing what they expect to see. They think we are weak and desperate. They expect us to fight like cornered animals. We must give them exactly that performance. Captain Bei Jun stepped forward. He would command the first wave of human ships that would engage the alien armada. His job was perhaps the most difficult of all. He had to make a fighting retreat look like genuine panic and confusion. My ships are ready to begin the opening act, Bei reported. We have practiced the maneuvers hundreds of times. The aliens will see exactly what they want to see. Frightened humans running from superior forces. What about civilian evacuations? Park asked. Major Yoon Bin consulted her tablet before answering. All refugee ships are in position and ready to launch. The aliens will see desperate families fleeing their homes. They will never suspect that many of those ships carry our most advanced weapon systems. Commander Songhai had responsibility for the early skirmishes that would set the tone for the entire war. His ships would engage the aliens briefly, then retreat in apparent disorder. Each encounter was carefully planned to feed enemy prejudices about human military incompetence. The ambush sites are prepared, Song reported. My crews know exactly how to make successful attacks look like failures. The aliens will think they are chasing a broken enemy fleet. Admiral Park looked around the room at his officers. These men and women would have to perform perfectly for the plan to work. Any mistake could expose the deception and doom humanity to slavery or extinction. The enemy believes they understand us, Park said quietly. They see our retreat tactics as cowardice. They interpret our hit-and-run attacks as desperation. They think civilian evacuations prove we cannot protect our own people. Let them keep believing these things. Their arrogance will be their downfall. Lieutenant Kim Yu raised her hand. Admiral, I am receiving reports that the alien armada has begun moving toward our territory. Estimated arrival at the outer system is 6 days. Then it begins, Park said. Signal all units to assume first positions. Operation Phantom Dance is now active. Across human space, thousands of ships began moving to their assigned locations. Many headed toward the approaching aliens, ready to play their part in the greatest act of military theater ever attempted. Others vanished into asteroid fields, nebulae, and the dark spaces between stars, where they would wait for their moment to strike. The alien armada advanced with terrible confidence, their sensors sweeping space ahead of them. They detected the expected human defensive positions and prepared for easy victories. None of them suspected that they were walking into a trap that had been months in the making. The greatest deception in galactic history was about to unfold, and both sides were ready to play their parts in the deadly dance that would determine the future of human civilization. The first shots of the war echoed through space near the edge of the Sol system. Captain Bae-jun watched from his ship's bridge as alien vessels appeared on his sensors like a metal storm. The enemy fleet was so large that it blocked out the stars behind it. His hand stayed steady on the controls, even though he knew he was about to perform the most important acting job in human history. "All ships, this is Bae-jun," he said into his communicator. Enemy contact confirmed. Beginning. Defensive pattern Alpha. His small fleet of 200 ships moved toward the alien advance forces. To any observer, it looked like a brave but doomed attempt to stop an unstoppable enemy. The human ships fired their weapons and scored several hits on alien vessels, proving they could fight. Then, exactly as planned, they began to retreat. But this retreat was not the organized withdrawal it appeared to be. Bae-jun's ships scattered in different directions, their formation breaking apart. Some ships spun wildly as if their controls were damaged. Others flew in circles as if their navigation systems had failed. Radio chatter filled the communication channels with panicked voices calling for help. "This is the Earth's hope." One pilot shouted, "My engines are failing. I cannot maintain formation." "Luna's pride taking heavy damage," another voice cried, requesting immediate assistance. Admiral Vextar listened to these transmissions from his flagship and felt his scales rattle with amusement. "Listen to them scream like frightened children," he told his officers. "Their famous human courage lasts exactly as long as it takes for real warriors to arrive." The alien fleet pushed deeper into the Sol system, chasing the scattered human ships. Every encounter followed the same pattern. Small groups of human vessels would appear, fight briefly, then flee in apparent panic. The aliens began to spread their formation wider to hunt down the running enemies. General Quindal coordinated the pursuit from her crystal ship, her body glowing with satisfaction. "The humans are even more pathetic than our intelligence reports suggested," she announced to the Nixari fleet. "They cannot even retreat in good order. This will be finished sooner than we thought." Commander Songhai played his part in the performance from an asteroid field near Jupiter. His ships would launch surprise attacks on alien patrols, but these ambushes always seemed to fail at the crucial moment. His weapons would miss their targets by narrow margins, or his ships would retreat just before they could finish off damaged enemies. "Another failed ambush," Song reported to his crew after one such encounter. "The aliens' shields were stronger than expected. We barely escaped with our lives." But Song was lying to his own men to maintain the deception. The truth was that every attack was carefully calibrated. His targeting computers were programmed to miss vital areas while still causing visible damage. His crews thought they were fighting for their lives, which made their panicked radio chatter sound genuine. The aliens recorded every failed attack and shared the information across their fleet. They began to see patterns in human behavior that confirmed their prejudices. Humans attacked when they thought they had easy targets. They ran away the moment the odds turned against them. They could not coordinate their efforts or maintain discipline under pressure. Fleet Commander Earthon studied the tactical reports and nodded with satisfaction. "The humans fight like wild animals," he told his staff. "They have no real strategy, only instinct and desperation. We can predict their every move." While the aliens chased phantom enemies through the outer system, Major Yoon Bin coordinated what appeared to be desperate civilian evacuations. Thousands of ships fled from human colonies toward the inner system. The refugees looked terrified, as they abandoned their homes, taking only what they could carry. The alien fleet allowed these civilian ships to escape, seeing no threat in cargo vessels and passenger transports. Some alien commanders even felt proud of their mercy in letting non-combatants flee. They did not know that many of these refugee ships carried advanced sensor equipment and hidden weapon systems. "The evacuation is proceeding as planned," Yoon reported to Admiral Park. "The aliens are ignoring our civilian traffic completely. They have no idea what they are letting through their lines." Strategic analyst Choi Min monitored the enemy fleet from a hidden base in the asteroid belt. Her computers tracked every alien ship and recorded their movement patterns. The data confirmed everything she had predicted about alien behavior. Each species was following its cultural programming exactly. "The Sorok are pushing hardest toward Earth," she reported. "They want the glory of capturing the human homeworld. The Nexari are staying in the center to coordinate fleet movements. The Volmec are spreading out to guard against flanking attacks that they do not realize are not coming. Captain Li Dong worked from a mobile command post that jumped between different locations in the outer system. His job was to gather intelligence on alien capabilities while maintaining the illusion of human incompetence. His ships would scan enemy vessels, then flee before the aliens could respond effectively. The enemy is exactly as arrogant as we hoped, Li reported during one of his brief contacts with Admiral Park. They are not even bothering with proper reconnaissance. They assume they know everything about human capabilities based on our public technology demonstrations. Lieutenant Kim Yu intercepted thousands of alien communications every hour. The enemy was not even trying to encrypt their messages, confident that the humans lacked the technology to understand alien languages. They had no idea that Earth's computers had been studying their transmissions for decades. The aliens are already dividing up human territory, Kim reported. Sarok admirals are arguing about which worlds they want for hunting preserves. Nexari commanders are discussing which human cities would make good crystal gardens. They act like we have already surrendered. Admiral Park Hyun watched the tactical displays from Luna Base, seeing the alien fleet spread across his system like a plague. The numbers were still overwhelming, but the enemy was beginning to make the mistakes he had counted on. Their formation was becoming loose and disorganized as they chased fleeing human ships. Phase 1 is proceeding perfectly, Park told his staff. The aliens see exactly what they expect to see. They believe they are hunting a broken enemy fleet through familiar territory. They have no idea they are walking into the most complex trap in military history. The alien armada continued its advance toward Earth, confident in their inevitable victory. Behind them, scattered human ships continued their apparently panicked retreat. The aliens recorded every encounter as proof of human weakness, never suspecting that they were being carefully guided into position for their own destruction. In the dark spaces between the planets, thousands of human ships waited in perfect silence. Advanced stealth technology kept them invisible to alien sensors. These hidden fleets watched the enemy pass by, waiting for the signal to reveal themselves and spring the trap. The greatest magic trick in history continued its performance, with the audience eager to believe what they were seeing. The alien armada reached Earth's final defensive line near Mars orbit, their sensors detecting what appeared to be humanity's last desperate stand. Admiral Park Hyun's remaining fleet hung in space like a thin silver line against the approaching storm. 3,000 human ships faced 50,000 alien vessels in what seemed like the most hopeless battle in galactic history. Admiral Vextar studied the human formation from his flagship bridge, his yellow eyes gleaming with anticipated victory. The humans had arranged their ships in a traditional defensive wall, exactly as military textbooks predicted a desperate enemy would do. Their weapons were powered up and pointing toward the alien fleet, but their formation looked ragged and incomplete. Finally, they have nowhere left to run, Vextar hissed to his officers. We will crush them here and end this pathetic resistance once and for all. General Quindal's crystal form pulsed with excited colors as she coordinated the final assault. My sensors detect significant damage to many human ships, she announced. Their weapon systems are operating at reduced efficiency. Their shields are failing in multiple sectors. They are already defeated. Fleet Commander Earthon floated in his gas-filled suit, calculating attack vectors for his fleet. We will advance in 3 waves, he decided. The first will break their formation. The second will destroy their heavy ships. The third will capture any survivors for interrogation. The alien fleets began their final approach, confident that they were about to witness the end of human resistance. Sorok battleships led the charge, their massive hulls bristling with weapons. Nexari crystal ships hummed with power, ready to slice through any defense. Volmec cloud riders drifted forward like toxic storms, preparing to engulf the human line. Admiral Park Hyun stood on his bridge watching the enemy advance. His face remained calm, but his officers could feel the tension in the air. Everything depended on perfect timing. Too early, and the aliens might escape the trap. Too late, and the real human fleet might be destroyed before they could act. All units report ready, Captain Li Dong announced from his position at the tactical station. Hidden fleets are in position throughout the system, Stealth generators are operating at maximum efficiency. Lieutenant Kim Yu monitored communication channels, listening to alien chatter as they prepared for what they thought would be an easy victory. Enemy formations are exactly as predicted, she reported. They are concentrating their heaviest ships in the center, with lighter vessels protecting the flanks. The battle began with a thunderous exchange of weapons fire. Human ships launched missiles and energy beams at the approaching aliens, scoring hits that created spectacular explosions in space. The aliens returned fire with devastating effect, their superior weapons tearing through human shields and armor. But something was wrong. The human ships were fighting harder than expected, their weapons more accurate than intelligence reports suggested. Several alien vessels took serious damage from what should have been primitive human weapons. The easy victory was taking longer than planned. Captain Beijun commanded the center of the human line, his ships trading fire with massive Sauroch battleships. His formation appeared to be breaking under the pressure, ships peeling away from their positions as if their crews were losing their nerve. But this retreat was as carefully choreographed as everything else in Operation Phantom Dance. Now, Admiral Park said quietly into his communicator, across the solar system, the greatest revelation in military history began to unfold. The retreating human ships that had fled from alien forces for weeks suddenly stopped running. Captain Beijun's vessels, which had seemed to be fleeing in panic, reversed course with perfect precision and charged back into the alien formation. The scattered refugee ships that Major Yun Bin had been evacuating throughout the system dropped their civilian disguises. False hull plates fell away to reveal heavy weapons and military sensors. Thousands of cargo vessels and passenger transports transformed into warships, their true nature finally revealed. Commander Song Hai's failed ambushes were revealed to have been successful intelligence-gathering operations. Every attack that seemed to miss its target had actually planted sensors and tracking devices on alien ships. Every retreat had positioned human forces exactly where they needed to be for the final strike. But the greatest shock was yet to come. Human ships began emerging from hiding places throughout the solar system. They rose from asteroid fields where they had waited in perfect silence for months. They appeared from behind moons and planets, their stealth systems finally deactivated. They materialized from nebulae and dust clouds, their heat signatures masked by natural phenomena. What the aliens had thought was a human fleet of 3,000 ships was revealed to be 30,000 vessels. The majority of Earth's space navy had been invisible, hidden by advanced stealth technology and careful positioning. Every retreating human ship had been drawing the aliens deeper into a carefully prepared kill zone. Admiral Vextar stared in shock as human vessels surrounded his fleet from all directions. His sensors, which had shown clear space moments before, now detected enemy ships everywhere. The orderly alien formation dissolved into chaos as commanders tried to understand what was happening. Impossible, Vexatar roared. Where did they all come from? Our sensors showed empty space. General Quindal's crystal form flickered with confused colors as her perfect coordination systems failed to adapt to the new reality. The humans have technology we did not know existed, she said in amazement. They have been invisible to our most advanced sensors. Fleet Commander Earthon's gas suit hissed as he struggled to process the tactical situation. We are surrounded, he announced unnecessarily. The hunters have become the hunted. Lieutenant Kim Yu coordinated the information warfare campaign that flooded alien systems with false data and electronic interference. Enemy ships found their navigation systems showing impossible star positions and their sensors detecting phantom fleets that appeared and vanished like ghosts. Strategic Analyst. Choi Min activated the final phase of her carefully planned operation. Human ships throughout the system began targeting alien communication arrays and navigation beacons. Rather than trying to destroy the enemy fleet, they systematically cut it off from coordination and external support. All alien communication networks are compromised, Choi reported. They cannot coordinate between ships or contact their homeworlds. Each vessel is fighting alone. The alien Armada, which had seemed invincible minutes before, found itself trapped and isolated. Their Superior weapons were useless when they could not identify real targets among the electronic ghosts that filled their sensors. Their advanced technology failed them when they could not communicate with other ships or verify their position in space. Captain Li Dong watched the alien fleet's disintegration from his mobile command post. "The psychological effect is exactly what we predicted," he reported. "The aliens cannot adapt to fighting an enemy that does not follow their expectations. They are paralyzed by their own confusion." Admiral Park Hyun opened a communication channel that reached every ship in both fleets. His voice was calm and professional as he addressed the aliens who had come to destroy his species. "Attention alien forces," he said. "You are surrounded and cut off from support. Your communication systems have been compromised and your navigation beacons destroyed. Surrender now, and you will be treated according to galactic law. Continue fighting, and you will be destroyed." The greatest military deception in history had reached its climax, and the hunters had become the prey. The final phase of Operation Phantom Dance began with surgical precision across the solar system. Admiral Park Hyun's trap had closed around the alien armada, but destroying 50,000 ships would have been wasteful and cruel. Instead, humanity chose a path that would prove far more devastating to enemy morale. They would make the entire fleet simply disappear. Lieutenant Kim Yu worked at her communication station with intense focus, her fingers dancing across holographic controls. The information warfare campaign she coordinated was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. False signals flooded alien sensors, showing human fleets where none existed and hiding real ships in plain sight. "Enemy navigation systems are completely compromised," Kim reported. "Their star charts are showing impossible constellations. Their quantum beacons cannot establish contact with homeworlds. As far as they know, they could be anywhere in the galaxy." Captain Li Dong supervised the boarding operations from his mobile command ship, watching as specialized human teams disabled alien vessels one by one. Rather than using brute force, they targeted specific systems that would render each ship helpless without causing permanent damage. "Boarding Team 7 reports successful capture of Sorok battleship Death's Fury," Li announced. "The crew is in suspension and the ship is under our control. No casualties on either side." The alien commanders found themselves fighting a war unlike anything in their military experience. Their ships lost power and life support in precisely controlled patterns. Their crews fell unconscious from sleeping gas that appeared in their air systems. Their weapons powered down as human technicians accessed their computer networks through hidden infiltration programs. Admiral Vextar struggled to maintain control as his flagship shuddered under mysterious system failures. Emergency lights flickered throughout the bridge as his officers reported impossible malfunctions. His scales rattled with frustration as he tried to understand what was happening. "Engineering reports total power failure in sections 7 through 12, one officer announced. "But the reactors are still operating at full capacity. The energy is simply disappearing." "Weapons control is not responding," another Sorok reported. "The targeting systems show only empty space, even when enemy ships are directly in front of us." General Quindal's crystal form pulsed with panicked colors as her perfect coordination networks collapsed around her. Nexari ships throughout the LR fleet reported similar problems. Their advanced technology was turning against them, following commands that came from unknown sources. "Something is accessing our quantum networks," she announced to her staff. "The humans have infiltrated our most secure systems. They are controlling our ships from within." Fleet Commander Earthon floated helplessly in his gas-filled suit as his cloud riders drifted without power or direction. The Volmec had always prided themselves on their ability to survive in any environment, but they had never faced an enemy that could turn their own life support systems against them. "The atmospheric processors are malfunctioning," his science officer reported. "The gas mixture is changing to something that makes us sleepy. We cannot stay conscious much longer." Throughout the solar system, the same scene played out on thousands of alien ships. Crews fell into peaceful sleep as human medical technology filled their air with harmless but effective sedatives. Computer systems locked down as infiltration programs took control of vital functions. Weapons powered down as human technicians accessed them remotely. Major Yoon Bin coordinated the capture operations from her logistics center, tracking the status of every alien vessel in the system. Her screen showed a rapidly changing display as hostile red dots turned to neutral yellow, ones indicating successful captures. 70% of enemy fleet is now under our control, she reported. Estimated completion of capture operations within 6 hours. Medical teams are standing by to ensure all alien prisoners remain healthy during suspension. Commander Song He led the specialized teams that boarded the largest alien ships, including the command vessels of the 3 main fleets. His soldiers moved through darkened corridors with night vision equipment, securing unconscious alien crews and taking control of critical systems. We have Admiral Vextar in custody, Song reported as his team entered the Sarok flagship's bridge. He is unconscious but unharmed. All senior officers are secured. The psychological warfare campaign proved as effective as the physical capture operations. Alien crews who remained conscious found themselves surrounded by impossible phenomena. Their sensors detected human ships that vanished when targeted. Their communication systems broadcast confusing messages in languages that should not exist. Their computer screens showed tactical displays that made no sense. Strategic analyst Choi Min monitored the alien fleet's mental state through intercepted communications and medical sensors. The confusion and helplessness were having the exact effect she had predicted: complete psychological collapse of enemy morale. Remaining conscious aliens are showing signs of severe disorientation, Choi reported. Many are questioning whether this is really happening or if they are experiencing some kind of shared hallucination. Their ability to resist is completely broken. Captain Baejun supervised the final phases of the operation as the last alien. Ships surrendered or fell under human control. His vessels, which had seemed to retreat in panic weeks ago, now revealed themselves as the coordinators of the greatest military deception in galactic history. Final resistance has ended, Bae announced. The alien armada has been completely captured. Total human casualties, 0. Total alien casualties, 0. 50,000 enemy ships now under our control. As news of the impossible victory spread, through human space, Admiral Park Hyun prepared to address not just his own species, but the entire galaxy. He stood on the bridge of the captured alien flagship Eternal Dominion, surrounded by the sleeping forms of the commanders who had come to destroy humanity. The communication system activated, broadcasting his message to every world in known space. His voice was calm and professional, but the implications of his words would shake the foundations of galactic civilization. This is Admiral Park Hyun of the Human Defense Forces, speaking from the bridge of the former coalition flagship Eternal Dominion. The alien armada that came to destroy humanity has been captured intact. All 50,000 vessels are now under human control. All alien crew members are alive and unharmed, held in medical suspension pending prisoner exchange negotiations. He paused to let the incredible news sink in throughout the galaxy. Entire civilizations would be trying to understand how 3,000 human ships had defeated 50.